monumental architecture, the soaring rhetoric. Once again, Washington rises to the
waiting for Washington to solve illegal immigration.
Washington DC からの
Umfrage wird im Keller sind, hier in Washington.
The post-election debate in Washington over what to do in Iraq.
Washington.
So many ways that DC has changed, from the inner to the outer. So many things remain that could have been changed, like poverty, like sickness, like not enough hospitals and poor schools, like old people not having anywhere to go, like drug dealers on the corner, like winos at every block, like liquor stores on every street corner. But then the things that have changed are the things that remain the same, because the people come in, the old goes out. We see the colors changing in the neighborhood. Once it was black on black on black on black, and they called it Chocolate City. Now it's black on white, and it's black on white. And brothers and sisters, it's really not pretty, cause sometimes the people who move in replacing the people who get thrown out because the taxes are so high, because you cannot afford to stay in your own house. So the brothers say, and the sisters say, it used to be black on black on black on black on black in the neighborhood, and now it's black and white and Hispanic and Jewish and, you know, all that. And it could be good, except the alienation is just part of the gentrification, because the gap comes in how much money you make. Take it.
It used to be my hood. Used to be my hood. Remember? You remember? Walking up and down. Well, this used to be my neighborhood. Over here in Southeast Washington, D.C. And my neighborhood was called Arthur Caper Carrollsburg. Arthur Capers was this set of units over here, the townhouses. That was Arthur Capers. And all the apartments with the green roofs on them were Carrollsburg.
They took our neighborhood to put more houses in there, to put more people in there,
So
to get more money.
That's what it is. More money.
Today we're going to explore what is the tale of two cities. What does it mean to live in a city that, from much of its PR and much of the press, it is the cradle of democracy. And yet we know from the stories of its people that it has been one of the most undemocratic places to live on earth. Today we're going to speak with Anu Yadav, a young woman of color who has made her way through the city as she watched men, women, and children be forced out of their homes. So today on Sophie's Parlor, we're going to speak with Anu. Welcome, Anu.
Thank you.
Tell me about your experience.
So I first came to Arthur Caper committed to joining an organizing effort. And that group that was spearheading that effort was called Friends and Residents of Arthur Caper Carrollsburg. It's basically families that got together and started to do research to find out exactly where the city was telling them they would be moving to, what rights did they have in the process. And, you know, for me to be involved in some kind of grassroots, very political effort, it just, it made the city kind of come alive to me in a way. And after about a year, I went to people that I knew, and I said, can I interview you and make it into a play?
We received a letter in the mail. Okay? They said, quote, "We will be moving you through no fault of your own." Just like the Indians. Well, Hope 6 is a federal grant program.
And my thing is, what kind of name is that? You know what I'm saying? Hope 6. I mean, who's Hope? Is we talking about?
It's a $500 million investment. We are demolishing the public housing at Arthur Capper. We are rebuilding that low-income housing.
I want to talk about hope. I got hope I can pay my bills.
I got hope. This is an opportunity to transform this community into a viable place that I can get my medicine next week. I got hope that families can be proud of and feel safe in. And my vision is that I can feed my children to create a better future for these families, that I have a place to come back to. So tell me about hope. Tell me about hope.
Community comment time in the nation's capital. We want to get your solutions, your thoughts about how to improve Washington, D.C. Housing, voter representation, neighborhoods, once again, changing drastically because of the influx of a different population. Some call it gentrification, some call it progress. Give us a call, 202-588-0893 this morning on Community Comment. We'll be back with your thoughts in a moment.
I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., over by the old RFK Stadium. And when Dorothy clips those red ruby shoes and says there's no place like home, I know what you're talking about, Dorothy. Because wherever I'm at or wherever I return, it's my town. It's my city. And they're not running me out. And they're torn down and new things are happening. It's like, God, how my town is changing. Who's documenting that? And who are all these new people?
As I started to work on the play, I was interviewing people, I was keeping in touch with people as they were moving. And so I was trading numbers with other people. And you would blink and a whole street would be gone.
And that has been in some ways a legacy in this city. From Tiber Island to the alley communities, people have lived and died and had their children and raised generations, and yet, it's as though the asphalt opens up and swallows them. New lights, new people, new history.
If you have the vision to see what the building can be and what it will be, if you can have a vision and you can see that, there's a ton of money to be made in it. High-end condos, high-end condos, high-end condos, cracked out building.
Right, but I think you have to be a little bit savvy and look into the future to say, okay, I'm willing to have, whether it's, a burned out building next to me or possibly a homeless person who's camped outside my front door, I'm going to walk by that every day. The security factor.
Security guard.
Of just feeling like I like my neighborhood and I'm okay with not having a great restaurant across the street. I'm paying less, I'm getting a beautiful place to live, and I know the new stuff is going to be coming in. But I've seen a huge amount of change just in a few years, and I can't fathom if you came here in '91.
Demographically, it's shifted, and you have a lot of developers that are coming in here, so the mayor has to appeal to that business community that wants to develop at the same time. So they simply have to change their focus, and they can't cater to the same people before that were more worried about inner city services and about schools. It's now about that, but it's also about bringing in the business community and bringing in the development. For so many years, you couldn't walk downtown, you couldn't buy a sandwich downtown. You couldn't get anything that you wanted. No gyms, no Starbucks, no Safeways, no supermarkets downtown. And it's all changing, People like me see it as a great thing, is that the cities are once again coming alive. It's the resurrection of what was dead for so long.
202-588-0893. Your turn to say it. Good morning.
Washington is a federal city. This is where all of the laws are made. And they are going to get rid of all of the projects. And I mean, they're just adding on, adding on.
Gentrification in Washington, D.C. is forcing poor people out of Washington, D.C. It's almost like the Palestinians and the Israeli problem on the Gaza Strip. You know, these people are being forced from their homes.
Lumber syndrome is looming like a disease. Developers building condos faster than the eyes can see. I look around and I'm scoping more blue eyes and blonde hair than ever. Where am I gonna move? Your worries all light as a feather. These people don't sense my wrath because everywhere is gentrification's aftermath. So I appear foreign. Though I'm from DC, raised and born. These fools walk around me not knowing that DC was built from the resistance of the drivers and slaves. So you could inhabit swamplands, swap mosquitoes, drink lemonade in your bureaucratic backyard, you know.
My community, well, we're considered on Capitol Hill, close to the Capitol Monument, White House and all that. Navy Yard is right there at our door, and Marine Barracks, and it was valuable property. And DC governments offered a lot of money to allow the people, the big business people to come in.
I feel like the oppression tells us that keep to your own. Because if you can isolate someone and make them think that they're alone, that no one cares, that you can exploit them, it's a vulnerable thing. But the relationships, that's like the most important thing beyond anything else, because that's how we survive,
If you do speak up.
Right.
Whether they will find something in your lease that you done wrong, and they can just hire the homeless to put you out.
Well, it's an incredible time. I don't believe in apocalypse now, but the times are out of joint. We've got war, famine, disease. I mean, my God, we've got great tragedies right here under our noses. We're talking about keeping the roof over people's heads. We're talking about the right to live in D.C.
Basically, we're being pushed out to make room for more Caucasians. And I don't like that because we help build this city as well. Why can't we be around to enjoy the fruits of our labors?
They went in it! Oh, they went in it! They're finally fucking tearing it down! I was the last person to move out of this building 3 years ago, September. And they were supposed to be tearing it down that next year. And it took them all this time to tear it down. The longer it takes them to tear it down, the longer it would take us to get back in there. Fucking finally tearing it down. The emotion is around each one of these buildings is our... Miss Lou was on the second floor. And the lady with the children was down there. The male lady was right there. Miss... Cigarette lady was right there. Mr. Charles was right there with his 2 children. This lady, who everybody hated, she was very mean, but she had cookouts and she cleaned up. She was right there. It was public housing, okay? And we had a little drunk guy who used to sit right there, but he was nice. He would give you change. He would buy you the children's sodas. Sometime in 2001 or 2, we were presented with the option to do something with DC Housing Authority and Department of Housing and Urban Development. The program is called Hope 6, and its idea is to destroy distressed public housing and to create mixed income communities. of the 400 people who were to be involved and talk about whether we wanted to move, whether we wanted our community destroyed, whether we wanted to move with the possibility of returning, there were 10 people who made a decision about our lives. 10 people that made a decision about our lives. When the rest of us got wind of it, it was a done deal.
Go get Tiara. Tell her to bring her lazy butt back here. Working 2 jobs. It's too much, you know. I mean, they did not ask us if we wanted to move, okay? They just up and told us. They just a bunch of poverty pimps. That's what I'm saying, poverty pimps. If it wasn't for us poor people, they wouldn't be having no job.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I got my letter today. Phase 1, we the first to go.
They awarded the Hope 6 grant to DC Housing Authority based on the fact that there would be one-to-one replacement, which meant that all these 400 low-income people that moved would have a right.
400 low-income families.
400 low-income families would have a right to return. When we looked at the fine print, classic thing on reading the fine print, we discovered that they defined low income as 60% of Washington metropolitan area median income. The Washington metropolitan area has one of the highest median incomes in the country. So Washington metropolitan area median income is $90,000. So you would be able to qualify for a low income unit making $60,000. Average income of people in this community was $8,000. And that's fixed income, TANF, Social Security, and working poor. You had working poor people in this community. We went crazy.
Okay, because you know what's happening? Not a damn thing ain't making no difference. So what are we waiting on? Lena, what are we waiting on? Okay, we need to be the ones that say something. It's not gonna happen out there. Now, they're having a meeting in 2 weeks to talk about what's going on, and we need to take it to the man in charge, Mr. Kelly, Executive Director of the Housing Authority. He's gonna be at this meeting. So I say that you, me, Miss Shirley, we go down there, okay? We take it to the top, and we talk to Mr. Kelly.
It goes beyond just this particular public housing Hope 6 site. There are other Hope 6 sites that are wrestling with many of the same issues that you guys are wrestling with.
Mr. Kelly, Rhonda Thomas, friends and residents of Arthur Caper, Carrollsburg, we're here advocating for the community. We respectfully request 10 minutes on the agenda of this meeting. This is my colleague, Lena Davis.
I'm looking forward to having different forums in which these other kind of larger informational meetings can go through.
Friends and residents has concerns about the Hope 6 process, and we reserve the right to speak at our own meeting.
So I want to let those folks know tonight that if you had some issues that were not on the agenda, there will be other opportunities to share those with us and for those to be presented. So I want to put that officially on the table. I just want to say thank you all again, and God bless you.
Thank you. Arthur Caper Carrollsburg asked to be on this agenda.
Excuse me, Ms. Frazier.
Community meeting, a
Ms. Frazier.
Let her come out.
So how did this experience at Arthur Capers shape your understanding of democracy as it exists in the city?
Well, what I saw at community meetings was actively disenfranchising residents, preventing them from speaking up, basically. And it really wasn't a democracy at all. I mean, it was as if people were scared people who were managing poverty, people who were managing this whole project were scared of what would happen if people really spoke up, if there was a real dialogue. And it made me think about how we are not used to having a real dialogue. We're not used to being okay with saying what we really think.
Problem with Washington, D.C. as a city is that technically it is not a city. It's a federal district. We don't have full representation. Therefore, we're not really, on paper, the city that we try to function as, and that creates all the conflicts that we see.
I think, to begin with, I don't care if you call it home rule, statehood, whatever. Washington, D.C. has no control over its own destiny. Congress does it. That is the major problem. And until we can get a vote, when you can vote on the Hill, you can control your destiny.
Out of towners learn the dangers, angrily moving in. We'll be cool with them if they come in and respect us. Don't be acting reckless, you felon if you test us. Fellas, it's the biggest little city you sold. This is when Stinky Dink was getting riggedy rolled. What you think they write this out of history for?
If you will look on your right-hand side, you'll be able to see the United States Capitol building.
This is the National Gallery of Art. Our next stop would be Museum of Natural History.
I have to look at the White House every day I get off the bus to go to work. I'm so close to power, but I'm so far away. They cannot see us. We're invisible. We're the invisible people. We're the untouchables.
Most people knowledge is the scholarship in politics. Congress folks and lobbyists with dollars is preposterous. To all of us busting our ass to clock cash. This ain't Chocolate City cause of what's beneath the grass. Yeah, we got Bush and Cheney, but venture to picture that. We being held back by some black Democrats. 20,000 homeless cats in competition with rats. From places to way in alleyways and deli scraps.
When I look at that Capitol, or I look at the White House, I look at it as...
You don't pay it any mind anymore.
I don't care.
It's just a building.
It's just a building to me. One time when they say the White House, oh, my president lived there. My president lived there. The Capitol, oh, the Capitol. Yes. You go out of town, people say, you live, where you live at? Washington. You see the president? It's, oh, you live by the president? It's so exciting.
You been up in the monument?
Now, no.
Why not?
I look at it as a building that we don't, we poor people don't exist. It's just money. It's all about money. When I look at the White House, I see a greenhouse. I look at the Capitol, it's a greenhouse. It's a big money sign. That's what it is. That's what I look at.
In the beginning, when we first came into this Hope 6 situation, we met with them and we told them that by the way they were moving the people, there were going to be a lot of deaths, alcohol abuse, drug addiction, and different other things. And they did not want to, I won't say they didn't want to accept what we said, they didn't care about what we said. Because I had several people in the meeting of different nationalities, the people down in there, and they rebuked me behind what I was saying because I told them they was wrong what they was doing. And what made it so good, the good Lord had lawyers in there. Yes. And they stood up after I spake and put those people in their place and told them that I was telling the truth and for them to get it together. So it wasn't the fact that you don't know what you're talking about. They want to belittle you so they can take advantage of you.
What really tore me apart when we found out one of our neighbors that we fought so hard that keep in the neighborhood died. They took her out of the apartment, put her in a strange apartment where nobody knew her. That lady laid in that apartment for 3 days. Dead.
Before anybody missed her.
Nobody missed her. We done had people that had strokes. We done had people that had aneurysms. We done had people
from
just
the stress of moving to a new area and not having community.
No communication.
Okay?
Nobody.
Because if Miss Rose ain't seen me in 2 or 3 days, she gonna find me. If I knew came and knocked on my door twice and she ain't found me, she gonna call Miss Rose and say, "Where's Deborah?" We're gonna look for each other. That's why when we couldn't get her on the phone, I said, "I've been calling Miss Mary." So I've been calling Miss Mary. Go find her. That's community.
That's what
you
we
can't pay for that.
No.
You can't buy that.
No.
That's blood, that's sweat, that's tears, that's my phone is off, can I use it? That's your child is over there, go get her. That's you know, the cable man coming, can you let him in? You know, will you take my trash out today? That's what that is. Can you need a ride somewhere? Bring me some bread when you go back to the store.
That's right.
That's community.
In Capers, when they had a really bad snowstorm, and people were just out their house just digging paths for everybody, digging out each other's cars. I can remember that was, everybody made sure everybody had something to eat in a sense, you know. Had cookouts without being able to cook out. People come get something to eat and everything. I feel like I'll never know that again. Even if we move back, it'll never be the same. But that small place I'm in there, sometimes I don't feel scared, but I don't feel as safe. Of course, if something would happen in there, nobody knows me. Nobody would know how to get in touch with my daughter or my son or whatever. I have this little area right between the living room area and the kitchen area. I hear shooting. I'll be sitting in the chair looking at television, hear shooting. I usually sit in a chair on wheels. I just roll back into the thick part of the brick and keep looking at television. It's like desensitized to it. That's a shame. They used to be shooting in Capers like that too, but I was never afraid.
There's a lot of hardship out there, the continuing sky-high rents, evictions, the displacements resulting from conversions to condominium buildings, which is an epidemic sweeping this city. Special outreach to the Latino community. They are as victimized as everybody else in this city.
There's a lot of racial tension in the city at this point. We have a lot of illegal immigrants in the city, and there's tension between the blacks and the Hispanics and between the whites and the Hispanics.
Now, I wasn't here illegally. I was born here, and I had the right to demand from this country my rights.
I mean, you're coming here illegally and you're going to demand. That's the thing that really gets on my last nerve.
We have 12 million immigrants in the country right now. And to me, they're the ones that, this is my opinion, they should be the ones in shelter. They should go through some stuff we went through.
No, like there's enough food, there's enough housing, there's enough for all of us. But why is it that
they pit each other?
People who have way more in common with each other?
That's what they do.
So it's kind of like, I mean, I guess I would just challenge that to say, you know, there might be a vision that includes everybody.
Okay, right. It's all about green. That is why, I mean, we talk globally. That's why jobs are being outsourced to somebody else. That's why I can call Trimier, that's why I can call MCI and try to work my telephone deal out, and the homeboy who's doing customer services in fucking Argentina.
That's right.
He's not in down the street. He's not Miss Rose's daughter who need a job.
No.
He's in fucking Argentina because they can pay him $4 an hour.
That's right.
Here they'd have to pay you 9 or 10. As
saying.
long as capitalism is not policing
care.
itself, and it will not.
Don't care.
It doesn't matter. Now what I see and what I'm hoping for and what I think is fucking gonna go down is that when you push people to the point where they don't have it, the illegals are gonna find out. They're gonna get tired of struggling with us on the job. Why you can't speak English? Why are you working for $3 an hour? Why you got a car and I don't? And we will start eventually saying, we in the same boat.
That's right.
And at some point, we're all going to say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it. And it's going to be fucking revolution.
Aquí es parte de un movimiento de que estamos hablando.
Cierto. La coalición de inmigración del área metropolitana y los amigos del barrio de DC le invitan al Día de Solidaridad con el inmigrante, dice. Así que el 1 de mayo, señores y señores, a las 3 de la tarde, ahí en el parque Malcolm X. ¿Right? Entonces, ahora lo vamos a dejar con las últimas 2 canciones. ¿Cuál vamos a poner? Vamos ahí, 97.5 CPR con una entrevista muy especial con Cristópolis. Check it out.
Mighty Mouse. Te vengo a cantar mi flow. Con Nicky Joe.
Esto es como lo hacemos. Bienvenidos a América.
Matando latino, latino matando negro, negro matando latino, negro matando negro, mientras el latino se acelera y nunca aceleran. Gente, únense que todos tienen los mismos problemas. Latino matando latino, latino matando negro, negro matando latino, negro matando negro, mientras el gringo se acelera y nunca aceleren. Gente, únense que todos tienen los mismos problemas.
Once again, a nation of immigrants saying that we don't like immigrants. It's disgusting. And I really hope that people of African-American descent especially really rethink this issue. Because anytime the dominant culture wants to name another culture as the other, we have to think. Because we were the other and still in some ways are the other. And take a stand with folks who are just like us. Think.
Everybody's calling with a lot of different issues. It's so much to take on, you know? The only way to really solve is to really attach yourself to a young person. It's so true. They are our walking future.
All right, thank you for your call. Get in touch with some young folks. Reach out to them. Sow the seeds of the future in their mind.
I'm trying to get this writing workshop going, and you know, sometimes that happens. But usually by the time I get to the rec, all these kids, I go down L Street, all these kids, we're talking 4 years old up through 10, they come running up to me.
Mr. New, where you going?
I'm going inside the rec. Where are you going?
My grandma. Come on, Mr. New, come on. Come on, Mr. New, you come on with me.
Shaniqua, you got your stuff? Yeah, Mr. New. I wrote like 52 poems this week. They be tight.
Mr. New, do that thing you do with your chin.
There's this thing that I do with my chin. I don't know if you can see in the back. All right. This is where the old recreation center used to be. While they were there, while people were still living here, they said that they were going to tear it down, which was actually a violation of Hope 6 kind of procedure, which is a continued
Services must continue till the last person is gone.
So then the kids went around, and they went around throughout the whole neighborhood, getting petitions.
They created their own
petitions on paper, you know, sign here, and then just went throughout. And they gathered like a few hundred signatures.
And
they started calling the housing authority from the recreation center. Like 10-year-olds would be like, you know, save our rec, like don't close it down.
I just want to say something because it's not fair selling our neighborhood. They took away the playground, they gave it to the Marines. And now they're shutting down the rec. And what they're doing is wrong. And I just want to say something. And then Tiara, she busts in, she slams her hand on the table. She goes, yeah, I just want to stand up. Yeah, you know, stand up. Yeah, stand up. 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 Oh.
Well, what was important to those children was that rec center. And they fought for it and they got it. And they should. And from that, we got a lot more adults joining our struggle because they're like, damn, the children got the rec center. They were going to tear the rec down. There's nothing we can do about it. The children found something to do about it. So they have now a kernel of social action. The youth now know there's something that they can do. When they saw our news play, they heard their voices and they understood, well, wow, I got a future. I can be a playwright. I can write, you know, I can do poetry, and I can make a difference in my life.
All the DC natives need to walk in a procession, faces painted with the flag, and no more discretion is advised. Because government needs a hero, so fears, no more mistreatment, and no more lies. Less and less people of color and more Starbucks as we watch our words and edifices crumble to dust.
I live that nightlife.
Less people of color and more Starbucks as we watch our words and edifices crumble to dust.
Less and less people of color and more Starbucks as we watch our words and edifices crumble to dust. Less people of color and more Starbucks as we watch our words and edifices.
One of the most powerful moments, I did a reading in the community center. All these people were there, and at the end, one by one, people got up to say something. And it was as if they were testifying before, testifying about human rights violations. It was this powerful moment where that community center had been used as a means for a real public dialogue in a way that that community never had when it was mediated through the housing authority, when it was mediated through these officials who came in to say, this is what's happening to your community, and so we want to have a public meeting about it. You know, it was the first time, and people just said what they thought.
Okay, I'm gonna need this. Really don't need this. That play, Capers, is a testament to the struggle of low-income people, people in housing, people who struggle for their legitimate rights across the board. It is an inspiration. It's a testament. When we were losing energy, and we were like, oh, they got too many meetings, they took the rec from us, or you know, I can't make the steering committee meeting, and nobody was at the Board of Commissioners meeting, and Mr. Kelly said something and we couldn't get back to him, and you know, I got to pick up the children and I can't do that. When we got overwhelmed and looked like we couldn't do anything else, we would go and see the play, or I knew would talk to us about the play, and it would give us inspiration. And we also got art as organizing. We also got instant credibility.
By the time I did the full production run, it was clear that the organizing, it wasn't happening anymore because it was just hard to meet. And that was because they destroyed this community and they'd scattered people all over. And this play was one of the things that remained to say, you can't ignore this, you know, like, you know, and and you know, I never wanted it to be that.
It's okay, take your time.
You know, it's like people, it feels funny to be this person that's like feeling so much attachment to a community that's, you know, like, what the hell is that? But when people come up to me to say, you did a really good job, that was a great performance, you know, there's a part of me that feels just really hollow, because that was never the point. The point was that it was going to support, you know, this community effort by people who, you know, just decided to take the matter into their own hands and decide to envision the community that needed to exist. And
not only we found out from our struggle in our neighborhood that we're not the only people being pushed out of housing.
That's true. They're all different races where I am down.
So we're relating to, we've educated ourselves, we're relating to other races and economic things in the city, and we're doing networking with the city. And because of, you know, our new and our other organizers' contacts, we joined the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign, which lets us know that the struggle is international. So together we shall win. And one day you all will come back and we will be having this conversation in my house or Miss Murray's house, right down there at Arthur Caper, Carrollsburg, whatever the new name will be that we will all participate in naming it. But we will be there. We will have that housing back. There'll be 400 low-income people down there, whether we are there as homeowners or developers or renters. We are going to be there. Y'all count on it. Bet money on it.
If I don't go
because
back, ain't nobody going back. I'm burning down.
It's our lives, and we're not taking anything less than what we deserve.
You're listening to Sophie's Parlor. I'm Tim Howard, WPFW 89.3 in Washington, D.C., and we hope that you have enjoyed the show today. And we hope that you continue to grapple with the contradiction of the way in which we live, with the contradiction of democracy. And we hope that that does not paralyze you. We hope, like the people in the Capers, it gives you a reason to fight.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking till I hear my freedom ring. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking till I hear my freedom ring. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me round, ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking till I hear my freedom ring. And that's for everybody in the world who don't feel free.